What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com and welcome back to another one of our Breeders' Cup videos. I'm going to do a full video on the Breeders' Cup Classic this year, an early preview, and kind of go over the 12 contenders, or excuse me, the 11 contenders listed on the Breeders' Cup website. Go over them one by one and kind of give you my thoughts at this current time. As always with these videos, it's October 14th as I record this. I always check back for the actual pick once all the data is in, all the past performances are in, we know who's in the race, etc. It's just fun to kind of speculate at this point when it comes to this kind of stuff, but always check back. This is just kind of the early Breeders' Cup Classic preview. I'll put it up on the screen now. You can go find these at breederscup.com. Go to the contenders list, and they've got contenders for all the 14 races. I'm just going to go over the ones that they've got listed here. And then, whatever happens after that, we'll add on. And that's what I said. This is just kind of preliminary picks at this point. We'll start with Sovereignty. That's who I've listed first. And look, I mean, what bad can you really say about Sovereignty, right? He is just rattling off wins: Kentucky Derby, Belmont, Jim Dandy, and Travers. Kind of the dream foursome of races there for Sovereignty. Too bad it wasn't 5 and throw the Preakness in there as well, but that didn't happen. So, what's going to happen with him? I mean, he's training very well. He's coming out of the Travers, and last year, Sierra Leone came out of the Travers, finished third in that race, and then won here at the Breeders' Cup. So Sovereignty obviously kind of following that path as far as the spacing goes of the races. Look, I think there's the positives are there. We know what the positives are: super consistent, great running style, just dominating horses. I think, the things that you're going to hear about Sovereignty, and the biggest thing I think you're going to hear about Sovereignty is he's only been racing against 3-year-olds. How will he fare against the older horses? And that is the one knock that you certainly, through no fault of his own, you certainly can take on him. And it's fair, right? I will say 3-year-olds have done okay in this race. And, over the years, obviously, Bob Baffert's had a bunch of them. American Pharaoh and Bayern, Arrogant. Those three come to mind right away. And Sierra Leone was a winner here last year as a 3-year-old. 3-year-olds behind him, Fierceness and Forever Young as well. Now, the problem for Sovereignty is those 3 horses I just mentioned are all going to be talked about on this video, right? So the older crop is tough. The older horses that finished 1, 2, 3 in last year's Classic are all back and all really doing about as well as they were coming into last year, right? So, it's not going to be easy. And I think, hey, I want to go against a favorite, and here's why, and they give you that reason. I think that makes total sense. There's really no rebuttal to that. You just have to decide. Do you think he's better than those horses, and you think he can beat the older horses, or do you think they're still a little bit ahead of him? And that's kind of your first decision to be made in this thing. But he obviously is going to be the favorite. He looks like the favorite on paper as well. The next horse is Fierceness. And look, I mean, he is the Jekyll and Hyde of horse racing. He's a horse racing schizophrenic, as I heard him described earlier in the year. And it's just he either shows up and runs a race that you can't really beat him, or he runs a race where a lot of horses can beat him, right? And his last race, which was here at Del Mar in the Pacific Classic, it was electric. And if he runs that type of race, he sure can win it, right? Everything went wrong in that race, and he was still able to blow him away. So, look, I don't know, and you're lying if you know. If you say what's going to happen and who he's going to show up to be. If you watch the Whitney, if you watch the Kentucky Derby, if you watch the Holy Bull, if you watch the Champagne, even the Met Mile, I could probably throw out some other ones if I sit here and really think about it. This horse doesn't belong in the race, but you go watch the Travers from last year, or the Breeders' Cup Classic from last year, the Jim Dandy from last year, and the Pacific Classic from this year, Ali Sheba from this year. Even, he's got a great shot. Who knows with him? Always an enigma when he's in the race, for sure. Sierra Leone, the next horse we'll talk about, the winner of this race last year. That's the good news. An incredible race. Got the job done, beat Fierceness in a kind of a pace meltdown a little bit. All the other horses near the pace melted down. Fierceness hung on a bit, but Sierra Leone gets him late. Now, the bad news is we have one win this year from Sierra Leone. And so what do we do with him here? The good news is, if you want to back Sierra Leone, he wasn't exactly on a winning streak heading into last year's Breeders' Cup. He hadn't won since April. And a lot of the horses that were beating him, he beat when he got to the Breeders' Cup. This is the way I'll say it. When we get the past performances out, if you see it and you say, boy, this pace looks hot, you better play him. If you think this pace is kind of mild, you could probably get away with not playing him because he is very pace dependent. He's very one-dimensional, and it'll just come down to that. But anytime he's entered in there's pace, he's very, very dangerous. Mind Frame is who we'll talk about next, and there's a lot of good when you talk about Mind Frame. You know, he came back this year and won a nice race at Gulfstream. He didn't look the best, but he won it. He went and won the Churchill Downs, going 7 furlongs, of course, at Churchill Downs. And he beat a field that was probably the best field of the year as far as what those horses did after that. And so you're thinking, man, he's really locked in and looking great. He comes back. He wins the Stephen Foster. He beats Sierra Leone. And then you're ready to back him big in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. And his rider falls off, gets bumped and just amazing. If you hadn't seen that, go back and watch it. It was incredible. But his rider falls off and he's running loose on the track. And now the next time we're going to see him is at the Breeders' Cup. So we haven't seen a horse finish a race in a long time. And I think that is definitely a big worry. There's no way around it. June was the last time we saw him actually finish. And I don't know what kind of conditions he's going to be in, but I can tell you he had turned into one of the top, if not the top older horse. And if he would have won the Jockey Club Gold Cup, he would maybe be the best older horse as far as, right now, but not the case. So you're just going to have to make up your mind. Do you want to take and hopefully he is a little bit of a price and kind of go in knowing we don't know what kind of form this horse is going to be in. So that'll be very interesting to see how the bettors kind of treat him. Forever Young is next, a horse that ran third in this race last year. He ran second, of course, in the Kentucky Derby. Kind of snake bit here in the United States. Won the Saudi Cup this year, very impressive fashion. Won a local prep race for this one over in Japan. Kind of one of the ones he ran in last year to kind of prep. So he should come over. He should run well. Can he get that monkey off his back? I think that's the big question. He kind of had no excuses in the Breeders' Cup last year. He got 30 and he ran well. He just wasn't really a threat to finish first or second in that race. So I expect him to run well. I don't know if he's good enough to win it or not. Speaking of horses, I'm just not sure he's good enough to win it. What about Journalism? One of my favorite horses in training without any doubt, but what do we do with him in this spot, right? He's proven in 2 races against Sovereignty. He was no match. He also was kind of no match for Fierceness the last time out in the Pacific Classic. He's kind of, I don't know, he didn't run all that well, I think, in the Pacific Classic either. He kind of was lackadaisical early, and that's something that he's kind of done 3 out of the last 4 races. Preakness, he was kind of lackadaisical early. I thought the Haskell, same thing. And then again in the Pacific Classic. So he's got to be alert. He's got to get in position. Then he still has to turn the tables on Sovereignty, let alone Fierceness. So gosh, I think he's going to run his race, but is his race good enough in this spot? That's the big question for me. Let's go to Baeza next. I think he's super interesting in this spot. He's kind of the one all along out of this 3-year-old crop. You thought maybe he's going to get better. He has a right to get better. Very lightly raced. His first stakes race was the Santa Anita Derby. Almost won it. Went right to the Kentucky Derby. Ran very well to get third. Almost got second. Got third in the Belmont on a race he really didn't run very well. You look at his last 2 races. The Jim Dandy, he was right there with Sovereignty. I don't think Sovereignty was fully cranked. I don't think Sovereignty ran his absolute best, but Baeza made him work for it. And then he ran very well in the Pennsylvania Derby. So I think Baeza's got a shot to be the kind of the quote unquote now horse. Now, what does that mean? Can he turn the corner on or turn the tables on Sovereignty? I'm not sure. And if he can't, turn the tables on Sovereignty, then it's a matter of can you hit the board against some of these older horses. But I think he's getting better. I think Journalism kind of is who he is at this point. I think Baeza, until proven otherwise, he's still below him, right? Because Baeza hasn't been able to beat Journalism in 3 starts this year. But, maybe he's improving enough to get it done here and at least beat Journalism and get up into what, second, third, fourth, something like that. Antiquarian is next. A horse I've liked for a while. I bet him in the 2 starts he lost this year, back races where he lost right before he won the Jockey Club Gold Cup. I don't think he's good enough to beat these horses, but he is getting better and better with each start. He kind of didn't have the same antics, so to speak, that he had in some of his prior races last time out. So another one I think could hit the board. I don't know if he can win. That's kind of my thought on him. Locked is mentioned here. I've also heard him mentioned for the dirt mile. I'd rather see him in the dirt mile, honestly. I do think he is a cut below all of these horses, not one I will be interested in the classic. If he runs in the dirt mile, and you never know who's going to show up, so I don't want to be married to him in the dirt mile. But if he does show up there, it'll give him a long look. I think he makes sense there. Highland Falls, just I think he's just a cut below. I just don't quite think he's good enough. He's had some chances up at Saratoga, and he ran well. He just wasn't good enough to win, and that's kind of been his thing when he's taken on like the elite of the elite. He's been good, just not good enough. And then Nevada Beach, I do think he's the wild card. He came back off of a long layoff, and he looked very impressive in the Goodwood. This is a much, much tougher race now. That's the problem. I wish there was kind of a spot where you looked at Nevada Beach and wanted to kind of play him, but as good as he looked in the Goodwood, he's going to have to look that much better in this spot to beat all these horses. I think there are some years, some classics, where you look at a horse like this, and you think, you know what, it's kind of the now horse. I may try to give him a shot. I just think it's going to be really, really tough for him against this group, right? It's a very, very tough group this year. So I don't have a lot of interest in Nevada Beach on top. You maybe talked me into underneath at a big price, but at this point, it's just like, man, that's a tough draw this year for Nevada Beach. All right. So right now my pick is Sovereignty. To be quite honest, as we sit here right now, he's one of my better bets, if not the best bet of the Breeders' Cup. I don't want to commit to that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I have no idea who actually will end up entering in this race. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, you never want to commit until you get the full information and everything. So check back in a couple of weeks and that video will be up and you'll know. And, I don't want to commit to, hey, this is the best bet, lock it up yet, because you don't know who's coming over from the international side of it. You may fall in love with a 2-year-old like Lake Victoria last year. Last year, Lake Victoria was my best bet of the Breeders' Cup because you look at her and you go, well, wow, she's just a lot better than our horses, right? Modern Games is another one that comes to mind, even though we don't want to talk about that one because didn't get to, only ran for purse money only. I don't want to get into it. But anyway, there are horses that will pop out at you. But as we sit here right now, I'm pretty confident in Sovereignty. Very consistent horse. A lot of inconsistent horses in this field. He is not. He is very consistent. So Sovereignty for me at this moment. Check back in a couple of weeks to see the full preview. All right, guys, that'll do it for this early classic preview. Hit that like button if you liked. Hit subscribe. You really like it. Want to get alert anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're betting the Breeders' Cup this season.